Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Let me think. What are we doing here? Wait a minute, what is it? It's Halloween. Yes, it is. It's Halloween. It is the 30th of October. And oh gosh, tomorrow we're into November. I went into a store the other day. My neighbor took me in to pick a couple of things up, and I was so stunned because there were Christmas trees and lights and decorations everywhere. I'm thinking, oh, not yet. I mean, I love Christmas. Probably it's my favorite holiday, but not yet. I'm not ready for it yet. But anyway, apparently, ready or not, here it comes, and ready or not, here I come. So, what have I been doing this week? Oh, well, over the last weekend, I was dirty, I was filthy, I was sneezing, I was coughing, I was up to my eyes in dust and muck, and how many times in a day can you take a shower and then go back out and then get mucky and dusty all over again? And I was clearing stuff out. I was sorting stuff out. I came across a box, white box, amazingly still white. I came across a box in my storage, and in black, it was white box, and in black letters it says party stuff. And okay, I'm thinking, what's in here? And I opened the box, and there is this sort of pink, loads and loads of pink netting, a feather boa, and some gold sort of lightweight material. And when I turned 60, which is at least 50 years ago, when I turned 60, my daughter put on this amazing party for me. And that was when I was in Vermont. So somewhere in all of the years since then, and it's a lot of years, in all of the years since then, this box with nothing in it except a white feather boa, which as I'm pulling it out of the box is losing its feathers everywhere, and this pink stuff, and of course it's going out. But why would I keep it? I'm thinking to myself, it's memories. It's, there it is to remind me of the wonderful party my daughter organized for me, which was it was an amazing party, I have to tell you. But really, why would I keep it? And, it sort of occurred to me that and of course, going through stuff, and now you know what I've been doing. I've been clearing out and sorting out and so on. And some of this stuff goes back so many years. I found a dinosaur. If I come off camera for a second, I can bring it back and show you. What do you think, Chris? I guess I've lost Chris.
I think if it helps your story, you should do that.
Well, no, yes, just, you know what? Yes, I will. Just hold on 1 second here. Okay.
Well, then I can say to everybody else, this morning, Restream, which is the company we use to consolidate all of Rosemary's different social media, decided to flip their format. And they're forcing me to be in a little box at the bottom of the screen. So I'm not quite sure if you can see me or not. It'd be nice if you couldn't, but that's why I'm on, if you can see me.
All right. So I'm sorry. I've sort of I dove in, not thinking. So now I'm going to actually say, good morning, everybody. It is Thursday morning, the 30th of October. Tomorrow is the 1st. Everybody's voting, I know. Going crazy with your voting and so on and so forth. But before I go any further, first of all, I would like to say good morning to Gregel, who is laughing at me because I just dove in there. He's, as usual, he's standing to my right side. Good morning, Chris, who's in a little box in the corner, who usually isn't on the show. But anyway, these, Restream, and you get Zoom, and you get all of these, things that we use on a regular basis. But they have every now and again, every 6 months to a year, someone in the company decides, I think we should update. And even though everything is working perfectly, things are so perfect and so good, and everybody's so used to, you know what I'm talking about, they update and screw it all up. And I want to say to them, that great phrase, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. Excuse me, leave it as it is. But anyway, there we are. Right, back to my tale of dirt and muck, and I was going to say my tale of woe, but actually it's not a tale of woe. It's just a tale of, you collect things. We collect things. I am getting to a point. Anyway, so as I'm collecting things and I'm unearthing things, I find this. Now, this is the this is the first time that this has ever been shown outside of my family, outside of my daughter and of course my grandson. Are you ready for this? I mean, this is like, so okay, so okay, here we come. Here we come. Da-da-da. Okay, so you see how, okay, can you see that, Chris?
We can see that. That's fabulous. I love it.
Well, actually, it's not quite, because I don't know how closely you can see it, but the the nose broke off. All
That's
right.
okay.
Anyway, so I unearthed this. How it has survived is anybody's guess. Now, you probably think that this is something that my daughter made, right, Chris? You think it's something my daughter made when she was a little girl. You might think it's something that Reese made, but actually, everybody, this poor little thing, this dinosaur, pretty sure that's what it was meant to be. Can you see I've sort of painted this little gold stars on either side? I don't know how clearly you can see this. But I remember making this. I was 6 years old. Yes, it's something that I made. I mean, its poor neck has been broken off, and somebody kindly stuck it on. Not a bad job, but you can see there's a crack. The neck must have broken off. And the face, I don't know what happened to the face or where that's gone, but that's, but this is so old, it could almost, not quite, but almost be an antique now, because I was 6 years old when I made this thing. And so I found it, and I'm thinking, why do I still have this? And why is it insisting on not being broken up and shattered or something? It seems as if it's, it's sort of, the dinosaur is indestructible. So I showed it to my daughter, and I said, I'm going to show it to Reese, or take a photo of it and show it to Reese, and then I'm going to chuck it. No, Mummy, no, don't throw it out. No, don't throw it out. Okay. So I said, well, what's the point? Who's going to keep it? When I'm gone, who's going to want this in their glass case? Anyway, so then I showed it to Reese. Samantha later on that night said to Reese, Mosey's got something to show you. He's all excited. And I showed it to him. And he thought his mummy had made it until I told him that I was 6 years old when I made it. And I have a very, very clear memory of making this. All of the kids at the school we were in, we were sitting on a big table. We were each given a lump of clay and told to do whatever we wanted, and this was my effort. I think they might have put it in a kiln, and then I painted it. I remember painting it too, but anyway, let me put it away now, because I think we've had enough of the dinosaur.
But I think your dinosaur is lovely.
So I said to Reese, I thought I'd show it to you, and then maybe I'll take a photo so you can keep it, but then I'm going to So I said, no, Mosey, without even his mum telling him that she didn't want me to throw it. No, Mosey, you can't throw it out. You can't throw it out. It's something that you made when you were a little girl, etc., and etc., and etc. And so on on it goes. All right. So I've been, you get the point. I've been cleaning stuff out. But why do we keep things? Why do we keep all of this clutter? Why do we hold this? I guess it's sentimental value. Why is it so important for us to have these tangible things in our lives? And then, excuse me, then, of course, then I had a consultation with a lovely lady this week. And boy, oh boy, does this person have so much clutter. But it's not necessarily in her house. In fact, I don't think it is, because she's given everything away, because she's just doesn't want to be sentimental anymore. But she's still got clutter. She's still got clutter in her head. She's still got clutter in her mind. She's cluttering up her entire life. She's cluttering up her spiritual self, her spiritual growth, because she's holding on so tightly to all of this, let's call it clutter. Some things good, but mostly negative thoughts, negative feelings. And she's, determined she's going to hold on to it. And anyway, so it occurs to me that, I don't think I have too much clutter in my life, in my head. My house is a whole other thing, but I don't think I have too much clutter in my head. I don't bear grudges to anybody who I feel could have been nicer in my life. I don't obsess over my childhood. It is what it is, and I feel that I've learned from it and grown from it. I think about the work that we do with our bottom brick people, and how even on a subconscious level, so many people hold on to, let's say, we call it clutter, because it is clutter, because it's cluttering up our minds, it's cluttering up our head in a way. So many people hold on to things, either consciously or subconsciously. And it can really make a huge difference in the way that you treat other people, in the way that you treat yourself. It makes a huge difference in the way you live your life, whether it's in a positive way or a negative way. When we do the bottom brick exercise, I love that moment, that aha moment, when I'm able to talk people through their memories. We take them back into, when was the first time that someone made you feel less than you are? And this is all about getting to the bottom brick, because the bottom brick is that wall that we build without even consciously realizing it. We build and build and build that wall that protects us and keeps us, we think it keeps us safe, but what happens is, as the wall gets bigger, it also gets thicker, and then we isolate ourselves. We don't protect ourselves, we isolate ourselves from the world. We isolate ourselves from people who might want to love us, who might want to get to know us, who might want to socialize with us. We isolate ourselves because this wall sort of prevents any trust from happening between us and the rest of the world. So clearing out the clutter in my house, which is a big chore, fairly big chore. What happened was, I moved from England to Vermont and brought clutter because I couldn't bear to part with this or that or so on. And then when I moved from Vermont, I brought all the clutter because there wasn't time to clean it all out. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll use that sometime, or I don't really want to, and on we go. You've been there, or I'm sure most of you have been there. You know what it is I'm talking about. And it's so hard sometimes to let go of the things that we're never going to do anything with, and we're never going to they're not necessarily valuable. Well, now, just having said that, how valuable do you think this is? what can anyone do with this little thing, except it's a good talking point right now. I've got stuff that when Samantha was little girl, she made, she made stuff. I've got 2 stones that she painted when she was about 4 or 5 or something. I mean, there are certain sentimental things that you keep, but when does the sentimental become clutter? When in your mind does the sentimental or the hurt or the pain become that clutter that is destroying or causing us to be negative? When does it go from the hurt to the joy? Sometimes never. When does the clutter in our lives and in our minds, when does it become something that might have started off as being positive and ends up being very negative, or the other way around? So, okay, so now you know what I've been doing all this week and why I'm so dirty. Not now, actually, but why I'm so dirty. Why I was so dirty over the over the weekend and so on and so forth. And I keep thinking to myself, it's got to be done, because when I go, not that I'm going anytime soon, but when I go, I don't want to leave my daughter with all of my clutter to sort out. And I know perfectly well she's going to be doing this, throwing this, throwing that, throwing this. She's not going to be keeping stuff, but I don't want her to have the problem with it. So, okay, so I'm cleaning out, partly because of my daughter, mostly because of my daughter, because I don't want her to be left with the residues of my life which mean nothing. For instance, like the feather boa. What is she going to do with that? She's going to chuck it out. She's going to throw it. Okay, when it comes to our minds, our hearts, our emotional state, of course, we're affecting people. When do we look within us, try to make things better? Not just for our own sake, but for the sake of those around us, for the people who love us and who care about us. When do we sort of sort it out? And I'm coming back to the bottom brick, and there's some great exercises we can do. The bottom brick is one, the 3 chairs is another. We thought we'd have a couple of sessions doing the bottom brick. We thought we'd have a couple of sessions doing the 3 chairs. Some of you will not know what I'm talking about, but the 3 chairs is an amazing, amazing, amazing exercise. And it's Halloween, so at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, that's East Coast America time, 6 o'clock our time is 11 o'clock British time. That's as much as I can work it out for you. But we're going to be talking, we were going to be doing a Halloween show, which you think is going to be spooky. We're going to be talking about ghosts and ghouls and things that go bump in the night. And you'll have chance, every one of you will have chance to ask questions, anything you want. But I thought we'd also do, we'll talk about the exercise of the 3 chairs. And you might want to try this for yourselves, because it's a brilliant exercise. So am I ever going to stop talking? What do we think? It's so long since we did the show. Blah, 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 blah. Here I am talking. So anyway, clutter, we're going to be talking about clutter. We're going to be talking about attitude, and I'm going to talk to you about the exercise that I do with my students, which is the 3 chairs. And what on earth do I mean by that? Putting someone in the hot seat. The 3 chairs are in fact the one hot seat. The 3 chairs are what goes on in our mind, but we're going to be talking about that later on. So I'll be teaching you some stuff, and we're also going to be doing our, continuing to do our, what is it, Chris? What do we call it? Our tutorials. We're going to be doing more of our tutorials. So the hurricane is over. The aftermath of the hurricane is definitely not over. People are suffering tremendously. In Venice, the eye of the storm actually collapsed in on itself in Venice, where I live. Homes are destroyed. I mean, you can just, you drive around, beaches are closed. One of the most famous beaches in our area, which is Casperson Beach, known as the beach where you find all of the shark's teeth. Huge, beautiful beach, beautiful area, car parks, so on and so forth, gone, destroyed. All the car parks are gone, everything's destroyed. All of the foliage that sort of stood along the edges of the road as you drive down to get to the beach, gone. Everything is gone completely. There isn't a road there anymore to get to it, and so, you know, one or two of the beaches are open, but only partially open, and it's sort of fairly dangerous at the moment to go, you know, go onto the beaches. You have to be very careful. You can't take your vehicles there. So the aftermath of the hurricane is very much still in play, and people are still very much suffering. And naturally, as always happens in these cases, the insurance companies, who are so grateful to us and willing to take our money when everything is going fine, people are having awful time with their insurance companies, who, instead of just, you know, they've taken your money all these years, just pay up what you owe. But no, they're looking for loopholes and so on. And it's an awful, awful mess. And of course, FEMA is nowhere to be seen, because FEMA has no money, because they've been giving, I think it's $9,000 each to all of these illegal immigrants that are coming in, flooding the country. Good old Biden, well done you. At the same time, we have these poor people in Louisiana. We have these poor people who have been affected by the hurricane. I think they were given $750. It doesn't even pay for a motel room for a week for families. Doesn't even pay. What does it do? It's an insult. It's an insult. So we still have the aftermath of all that going on. And having said that, that's clutter. It's clutter because in 5 years it will be sorted out. And I think that Cher shares a story. Her mother used to say to Cher, if it doesn't matter in 5 years, then it doesn't matter. And I think that's a great thing to remind ourselves. If it doesn't matter in 5 years, it doesn't matter. So all of the beaches will be cleared up. Things will be put back to rights and so on and so forth. So at least we're on the way to fixing that and mending those things. So we're going to be doing more and more. In my personal case here, it's a little bit of water damage, floorboards up in a couple of areas, but other than that, everything is fixable. So we thought, sort of we begin to do more again, have more tutorials, and of course we did have to cancel our fabulous cracking up show, but we're going to come back to that. I'm going to be calling Kay later to organise a cracking up show. So in the meantime, we're trying to get things sort of back to normal. I will apologise once again for all of you who were looking forward to our event on November 19th. I'm sure you all totally realise why that can't happen, and so I'm sorry to have disappointed all of you, but we're going to be doing more tutorials, so keep an eye on those. I'm stopping now. I'm taking a breath. I am going to go, Chris, into the chat room. And let us see.
Don't forget, though, the December 14th Gray Eagle Speaks that we're trying to work through. So
Yes.
even though we had to cancel this November 19th in-person live event, you'll be able to have a virtual event in December.
Yes, and I'll be talking more about that I'll be talking more about what does it mean, Gray Eagle Speaks? What does that actually mean? And I'm hoping that by then my cough will go, because it's hard to do trance work when you're coughing and spluttering all over the place. Anyway, So yes, we're looking forward to December 14th, keeping our fingers crossed it goes well. And if you'd like tickets to that event, it is an amazing, it's an amazing experience. It's an amazing event, and those of you who've been to them before will absolutely know that it's not to be missed. How can I put it? Not to be missed. Because we have had to cancel the November event, we're going to do the Grey Eagle Speaks. We're going to do a very much reduced ticket price, because I'd like as many of you to be able to afford to come as possible. And as I say, because we cancelled the November event, I think it's only fair that, you know, you all give to me so much. So I think it's only fair that I should give back to you. So there'll be more details on that and more details on the ticket price. Probably in the next few days. Done. I'm done. Not saying
Well,
a word.
we'll have the newsletter coming out for anybody who has subscribed through your website, and the information hopefully will be in the newsletter, right?
Right. Okay, Chris, go for it.
All right. So Rhonda was on first thing this morning saying, "Good morning. Hoping life is getting back to some kind of normalcy for you, and it's good to have you back on."
Thank you, Rhonda.
Judith says, "I'm so happy to know our Rosemary is back."
Here I am. I was thinking this morning, you know, I know that so many people have been concerned, talking about my health, so on and so forth. And, you know, it's been a little bit tricky over the last few months. But I was laughing. As long as I've got my makeup on, you'll know if I have the strength to put on my makeup. I actually don't put a lot on. I only do my eyes. I don't have anything here. See, it just won't. Oh well, it won't rub off because that's just my skin. But anyway, I only do my eyes, and I think I've got a little bit of lip gloss on this morning. If I can't put my makeup on, if I ever come on this show and I don't have my makeup on, you know I'm feeling really, really bad. So, you know, the makeup is the last thing to go. Chris, keep going.
All right. Barb says, "Welcome back, Rosemary. You've been missed." Jenny, Dean, Sarah are all saying, you know, hellos or good mornings. Shamanth says, "So happy to see you back and glad to see that you are all safe." Leslie, "So glad you are back. We recently scattered my mom's ashes, and afterwards, 2 hawks circled above. Did
Yay!
mom send them?"
Of course. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. It was so funny because reminding me of that on the day that the hurricane actually hit, um, there was this enormous, enormous hawk. I won't say that it was an eagle, but it looked like an eagle. It looked like a bald eagle to me, but it was this huge hawk. It was flying. I live on a small lake. It was flying around, spinning around the lake, squawking, so on and so forth. And at some point, perched on my neighbor has this flagpole. It perched on the top of the flagpole and just sat there looking at me. And you know, whenever I see birds like that, I always feel that it's a sign that, you know, the spirit world is watching us, watching over us. Of course, the grey eagle is watching us and watching over us. And I always feel that, you know, birds are very significant to me. I know that they are significant to a lot of people. And my power symbol, of course, is a feather, so an eagle feather. So yay, good for you. I bet that made you feel so great. Chris.
All right. Then Wayne says, "Good morning and so happy to see you're okay." Susan says, "So happy you are back." Let's see. Shamanth, "Last month, September 22nd, my uncle Maha Rudrapa passed away after a month-long prolonged illness. How is he doing on the other side? I prayed to Grey Eagle many times."
I just have felt Grey Eagle's hand on my shoulder, which is a sign that he would like to say something. And I'm told to tell you that he's fine, settling in. And I'm told also that he's a good person. So I know that he's been welcomed into the spirit world, and that's something. Okay, so yes, don't worry about him. Shamanti's fine. Chris.
Chrissy says good morning.
Good.
Kara says your dinosaur is lovely. Then we have Vicky saying my 92-year-old mom passed 2 weeks ago. She lived with me even though we disagreed a lot. I know all this is in the past now, but should I be expecting any signs from her?
Oh yes, of course. I mean, why wouldn't she? Give her time to settle down. Give her time to settle in, should I say? Yes, of course. I mean, look, at 90 some, I'm going to say, see, and almost you can make this mistake, right? People, my sisters mostly, would make excuses for my mother's really bad behavior, mean, nasty, awful behavior. And they would remind me, well, she's 80, she's in her 80s, and and so forth. And I was just about to say to you, look, she's 90 something, she's entitled to be grouchy, she's entitled to be, however, we forget that it's not about age, because they've always been this way. As we get older, we just get worse, but they've always been this way. But I think, from what Gregor tells me, I think she does love you. It's just her way to be, a grumpy boots. But yes, of course, watch for signs, of course. Chris.
All right, this is from Barbara. Hello, so happy to see you. I
Thank you.
always send prayers that you are protected and safe.
Oh,
We have all missed you.
thank you so much. I feel so blessed. I've had so many prayers. I've had so many people caring about me. I feel so blessed, and thank you, all of you. Any more stuff you want to send me, just give it to me. I'll take whatever you've got.
All right. Monica is writing to us in Italian, so I have no idea what she's saying, unfortunately.
Okay, before that, whether you understand this or whether you don't, it's hard. We do say it on our website. If you want to communicate with us, we have Google Translate. We have so many different ways that people can actually, you put something into your computer or whatever it is you're using, and you can put it into this program, and it translates it into English. As much as I would love to answer every language in the world. Look, I've got a neighbor next door. He's Polish, but he speaks English. But I am telling you, I am hard pressed a lot of the time to understand what he's saying. And I love him to pieces. And often he'll look at me, and of course my face is blank, and he'll say, you understand? You understand? No, I don't. You have to tell me again. So if you want to communicate with us, English only, please, then we all have the tools to translate what we're writing into English from any language in the world. You can just shove it into Google or whatever, and it will translate it for you. And then we can talk to you, then we can reply to you, then we can answer your questions. Chris.
All right. So when you were talking about purging,
Oh, yes.
Rhonda says, that's funny, Rosemary. I've been doing the same thing. I've been giving some of my things away too.
Oh, I have a friend who, we've had literally boxes and boxes over the last year, probably, or 2 years, boxes and boxes and bags of stuff that go to Goodwill. And or if I know someone, um, I I had the most beautiful cut glass, crystal glass bowl. That I would call it a trifle bowl, or you could put fruit in it or whatever. And I had the guy who does my lawns for me, he was here, and they've had a terrible time. They're still trying to get their insurance to pay up from the 2 year ago hurricane. 2.5 year ago hurricane, and they are owed by the insurance company $160,000. I think that was the cost of the repairs to their house, and of course the insurance company, now they've gone to court, and now the judge is saying, well, you're going to have to just come to some understanding of how much you're willing to accept from them. Well, if it were me, I'd be willing to accept $160,000 because that's what you owe me, and that's what I've been paying, all of these years for insurance. Anyway, let's not get into that. But I had this gorgeous crystal bowl, and I have lots of things like this, and I just thought I can't keep hold of all of this stuff. So I actually saw him there, and his wife is lovely, and I just ran out with this beautiful, heavy crystal ball, and I said to him, "Give this to your wife, would you, from me?" And he smiled, lit up, and he was so happy and just so excited that I had just given him something. So if you are getting rid of your clutter, do think of your neighbours, your friends, and do think of places like Goodwill, or we have a great charity shop here, an animal charity shop. Do think of all of those places when you're getting rid of the clutter, because what is clutter to me could be a treasure to somebody else. Okay, Chris.
All right. Leslie says, I will be there for Grey Eagle Speaks, and I'm so excited.
Oh, good. Good. Yay.
Kay is on saying, I've had large red butterflies in the house, and I felt all would be okay.
Oh, yes. Wow. Well, butterflies are very important. The Native Americans believe that the butterfly is the symbol of eternal happiness and joy. So I think that's what you're getting, Kay. And can I'm going to call you later to organise a cracking up, if that's all right with you. I'm sorry we had to cancel before, but we need to do a cracking up. Okay.
All right. Let's see. Shamant says, thank you so much for your message. Tony and Dee are all on saying good morning. Wendy's on saying good morning. Monia says, Francesco, my husband, died in July. I have started reading your books, but I need a message from him.
Well, of course you do. We all need messages from our loved ones, and I'm glad that you're reading the book, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed it really helps you. When we do the Grey Eagle Speaks session, this is when often messages come actually from him, or of course from me through him, and we often get people in the spirit world giving messages also. So we'll probably be doing some of that as well. The event is, what did we say, Chris? 3 hours? It's a 3-hour event.
Yeah, I think that's what you're aiming
3
for.
hours. Yeah, I think, I was going to do 4
10
hours,
to 1.
but it's exhausting. So from 10, Saturday is on a Saturday morning, 10 until 1 on the 14th of December. It's a Christmas show. And we will be giving messages from the spirit world also, and people will be able to ask questions. And Grey Eagle will, keeping my fingers crossed, I get rid of this nasty cough, but at some point Grey Eagle will be directly speaking through me, but directly speaking to you. We'll talk more about what's happening, but what has happened in the past is that I will go into sort of like a semi-trance state where I can repeat the things that he's saying to me, and it will be as if you're hearing his voice through me. I know it sounds weird, but anyway, and we'll be taking questions and we'll be giving messages. So, so that's the way to go. All right, Chris.
All right, this is from Wench. Hello from Norway, Rosemary.
Hi.
My mom passed some years ago. We got married after that. Does she like my husband?
Oh, I've got a I hate doing this because I don't like the quick fixes, but I can hear Grey Eagle, and there's somebody behind Grey Eagle who's whispering yes, simply yes. So that's as much as I can give you right now. As I've said, when we do the Grey Eagle session, it'll be a 3-hour session, and we'll be definitely taking questions and giving messages at that same time. So that's, keep it in your head, the 14th of December. And I'm going to suggest that as soon as we put it out, and we'll put a price out, and as I've said, it's a Christmas special. So we are going to, normally we would charge hundreds of dollars for this. And I can't remember what we charged last time, but we are not going to be charging not even $100. We'll keep it under the $100 level, I think. Did I just mess up myself? Anyway, whatever it is. Anyway, but yeah, I just said it, so that's what it'll be. Sort of email either Rosemary at rosemaryalte.com or Chris at rosemaryalte.com in the subject line, so we can deal with you quickly and easily. Put in Grey Eagle Speaks, and then we'll know what it is you're after. Or if you can't remember that, put in December event. There'll be a few events, but December Grey Eagle event. You can remember Grey Eagle. You should remember Grey Eagle. So put in Grey Eagle. Just put that in the subject line, and then, then we can deal with it quicker, more efficiently, more easily. There will be a limit to how many people we take, because even though it's a 3-hour session, that sounds like a long time. It goes in the blink of an eye, right, Chris? It just one
Absolutely.
minute started, and the next minute we're done. So, so please, book your tickets, email and get your tickets. Chris.
All right. We've had a number of people, because we were off for the weeks during the hurricane and no internet and no electricity, are really surprised that they got the notification that you came on. So that's great, because that means that they actually subscribed to your YouTube and got noticed. That's the best way to do it.
So what you're saying is subscribe.
Absolutely. We have a bunch of people saying, sorry, I'm late, but I just noticed you're on.
We don't care if you're late. We just love, I love the fact. And remember, when I refer to we, it's like, I'm not like the Queen, we are not amused is the most famous, I think, Queen Victoria, the English Queen, the British Queen, I should say, would say, we are not amused. And would always use we call it the royal we, because it means she and her royal self at the same time. We are not amused. But when I'm using the we, I'm talking about Grey Eagle and myself, and I sometimes tend to forget that people don't realize here he is with us and standing right next to me. And so, when I say we, I mean he and we will be there on the 14th of December. Excuse me. And, so we're sort of so thrilled that you are sort of, following and keeping up. But it is great. If you do subscribe, you will get the newsletter. I'm sorry, Chris. I know I've had time and so on, and I will hopefully try to get it to you in. Chris has been asking me for a week. Can you get it in early? Because I have so much to do. If we are a couple of days late, because Chris has all that stuff, and you don't necessarily have to get it in the 1st of November. I know you like to, but I'm letting you off the hook here, because Chris has been having some issues, right, Chris, also with what is it?
Vertigo,
stuff like that. So if we are a little, day or two lagging behind, just too bad. Where I know that you're going to give us lots of leeway here, and you're going to, be kind to us. Anyway, am I done? I'm done. I've forgotten. I've lost the plot.
Well, let's go to the next question.
As we say in England, when we ramble on and then we forget what we're saying or we forget what we're about, we thought, oh gosh, I've lost the plot. Anyway, go, Chris.
All right. Wanda says, I'll be sad to miss you live this month, but we'll definitely be on Gray Eagle Speaks. Lots of learning about family sensitivities to the spirit world. Will everyone work their way through it?
I'm sorry, give me the question again.
The question is, will everyone work their way through it? But it's
Through
about
what?
lots of learning about family, quote, sensitivities to the spirit world.
No, not everybody works their way through it. Unfortunately, as much as we hope that everybody works their way through it, there are people who, look, stubbornness is a huge thing. Now, I can be extremely stubborn about some things, but only if I'm fighting, usually for somebody else, and only if I'm sort of, have a focus and a goal. We'll talk more about that later tonight as well. Stubbornness can be a very good thing, but it also can be a very negative thing because, people who are stubbornly doing something because we've always done it that way and I'm not changing. Whether it's working or whether it isn't working, I'm going to do it that way. Or people are stubbornly holding on to the fact that, I've given up. I don't care anymore. Whatever. It's people's attitude. It's everybody's choice. So I'd love to think everybody gets through it, but I'm pretty certain that not everybody does. Chris.
Melinda wants to know, when someone has passed, do they get to meet all the relatives who have passed before them?
Yes and no. The people that you'd like to meet and that you'd like to get to know, as long as they're willing and available. And remember, it's all about willingness. It's not just about what you want. I want to meet my great aunt Sophie, for instance, and great aunt Sophie doesn't want to meet you. She's busy. She's doing something else. It's not an offense to you. She's just busy doing something else. So you won't get to meet her unless she is willing. It's like inviting someone for lunch. If they don't want to come, they don't want to come. And it's the same. We have choices. That means not just us when we get there wanting to see everyone. Yeah, of course we want it. Well, there are some people I'm thinking in my life that there are a couple of people, fortunately not so many, who I really do not want to see. That sounds awful. It sounds terrible, doesn't it? But I've made my peace with it. And there are certain people who I, perhaps, and it's not about anger and it's not about resentment. It's about not wanting the negativity of those people in my life. I've managed to get rid of the negativity that other people bring into my life. And I don't want to allow that negativity to come back in again. So it depends on the circumstances, it depends on the people, and it depends on, other people choosing as well as you choosing. Also, Chris, that should have been such an easy yes, but it isn't. And life isn't an easy yes or an easy no. Chris.
All right. Judith says, Rosemary, I don't want to pass until I get my house and paperwork in order. Therefore, I'm dragging my feet. My health continues to slow me down. What can I do to help myself? I'm getting depressed.
Now you need to stop that for a start. I'm getting depressed. No, you're not getting depressed. Here you are. You've come on this show. You're in the chat room. What you're saying is very positive in a way. I'm sorting out my paperwork. I'm sorting out my house and so on. And I like that positivity. So I don't want you to go down that road of, oh, this is what's happening to me. Remember, attitude is everything. How you use your mind for things, how you can change from being negative about something to being positive about something. Every time you think of negativity, and this is not just for you, darling, it's for everybody here. Every time you think of something negative, what and I strive to do this in my life, because let's face it, it's so easy, isn't it, to complain about this person, go negative about that person, go negative about life. Oh my gosh, when will this health issue right itself? It's so easy to go down that road of negativity. And when I find myself doing it, and I think being very aware of what you are doing, what you are thinking, and how you're living is very important. If you are aware that you're going down that negative road, this is what I do. I force myself to talk to myself, give myself a bit of a tongue wagging, and I look for the positives. And all I have to do, and even as I'm saying this to you, here he comes right into my mind. I have a flash of my darling boy, my grandson, and I smile, and there's joy. And so, find something in your life that you can focus on. My grandson automatically comes into my mind. If I'm thinking, what in my life is joyful? My grandson and my daughter are the most joyful to me. But my grandson, listening to him playing the piano, he just played a piece the other day. He did a piece for the school orchestra, and he did a little solo. He's amazing. But more than that, he is an amazing, amazing child. Mosey calls me Mosey. I think, you're coughing. I think you need to get some water. This is on the phone. Do you have any water? Are you okay? Oh my gosh. I could just hug him to pieces. How can I be negative? So when you are feeling negativity, or when you're feeling depressed, think back on, if you don't have anyone in your life right now that makes you feel joyful, there are so many things in life. There are, animals, thinking about my, lovely puppies, thinking about the naughty feather that was always into things, and things like this make me smile. So if you find yourself going down that road of feeling depressed, find the good stuff in life, and don't tell me there isn't any, because there is. In everybody's life, there is at least 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 or 50 little bursts of light that we can go to. Even if it's just one, find it, look for it, and smile because of it, and there'll be no depression, because you'll realize that in so many ways life is so fabulous and so good. Chris.
Joanne says, it's so good to see you. We spend our young life gathering things and our old life getting rid of things.
We do. It's so true. It is very, very true. I think that, it must be awful if you're one of these, what they call them, hoarders, which I am not, although I am a collector. I used to collect silk tableware, tea service. I've got a beautiful Victorian tea service. I found the teapot stuffed in a dark corner, all filthy and dusty, and I can't find the sugar in the milk thing, but I'm sure I'll find them somewhere. But they're stuffed in a dark corner or in a box somewhere, filthy, dirty. I mean, we have these spates of collecting stuff, and then we have this spate of, and I said to my daughter the other day, I have some really beautiful napkin rings, because I always had lots and lots of dinner parties. So napkin rings were a thing for me, napkins and napkin rings. I've got these beautiful napkin rings, but now I don't have the dinner parties, because I'm too old for these fancy dinner parties. And so I don't entertain as much. And so what am I going to do with all these napkin rings? I can hear some of you saying, give them to me, give them to me. And you know what? You can have them. But my daughter gets first pick. But I have so many really beautiful. Some are silver, some are gold, some have got mother of pearl, some have, I mean, just, you know, on and on I can go. And, you know, I collected things. Is that the same as hoarding? It is if you keep them long past their usage, or they're in a cupboard somewhere, they're on a shelf, and so what are you going to do? You're going to either first thing offer them to my daughter, she can have what she wants, and then sell them because whatever, or give them away. That's what I'm going to be doing with them. And so collecting and hoarding. But we hold on to things that we shouldn't, because what are they? They're just clutter at the end of the day. And in the same way, we hold on to things emotionally. I feel I'm getting so depressed. That's holding on to the negative. And you've got to find the positive. So when you're clearing out the clutter of your house, think about clearing out the clutter in your mind as well. We're going to do the 3 chairs tonight. That's what we're going to do. We're going to be doing the 3 chairs. I'm going to show you the way you can actually come out of your depression. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to do the 3 chairs, right, Chris?
Whatever you say.
Well, I think, you know, I'm game for that. I think that's good. All right. Let's keep going.
All right. Jen says, I have a question. I'm wondering if you and Gray Eagle could advise me, please. I mentioned to you I lost my dear friend a few months ago, and her son inherited her dog and cat. Unfortunately, shortly after, the dog was put to sleep very sadly. Her son struggles with mental health issues and wants to get rid of the cat Buttons, but he keeps changing his mind. Would you be able to tell me what's best for Buttons? She used to go out, but now she's in a flat and can't go out.
Yeah, I think that I think the best thing for Button would be to find her a good home, and if you can't find her a good home, but this young man has to be okay with it. I think that he would be okay with it if he knew it was going somewhere where it was taken care of. But, you know, this is why I've been so tempted, you know, that I lost my last puppy, Cachorro, and I knew he was my last because I knew that once he left, I was not going to get another animal. I just wasn't. And the reason for that is that I am, you know, any animal that I might get it's more than likely will outlive me. And then Samantha would have to take the animal, and then you're putting your responsibilities on somebody else. It's very tough, and you know, and it's very hard to know what to do. But I was thinking of, first of all, any animal that I might get. I mean, I was tempted a few months ago. Samantha said to me, you know, we'll take the puppy if you. And of course, Reese is thrilled to think that I might get a new puppy. But it's not just getting the new puppy, it's the insurance, it's the medical bills, it's the responsibilities you have to the animal. And I think we have to be very, very aware that animals, it's okay if we die and we leave them. We can't help it if we've got them, and we, you know, what happens then. I remember, and most of you know about my wonderful friend Luella. She had 2 enormous, I don't know what they were, Australian somethings or another, and they were guard dogs for the farm. They were huge, big, white mountain dogs, but they had been bred to guard. So if you walked into the house unexpectedly, they were at you. They were ready to strike. Even if they knew you, they were always on guard. And what she did was one of the dogs actually got sick and did in fact die about a year before she passed. And then the second one was perfectly healthy, although old, but she would not let anyone else have the responsibility. So she brought the vet in and she had him put down before she passed, knowing that as she got sicker and sicker, people wouldn't be able to come into the house to take care of her. So, you know, it's a tough call. I think the best thing for the kitty would be to either to find him or her a good home. And it depends how old he is, because the best thing also, I know, it's not nice to say, but I sometimes think the best thing to do is to gently, carefully, and lovingly send them on their way to the next world. And I know for a fact that, you know, you're not ending someone's life. They are living still and continuing their lives still. But yeah, I think that in this particular case, this cat is not getting what it needs necessarily. So, you know, tough decision, tough call, but we have to look at the animal, and that's the first priority.
All right, so you're right at 12, Rosemary.
Okay, let's have a couple more. I'm
Yep.
enjoying myself. I talked a lot, so let's go.
Well, you have
Wait a
tonight.
minute, hold on a minute. I'm back this afternoon or
Right.
early evening. It's 6 o'clock evening or afternoon. Yeah, I'm back at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, everyone. That's so, you know. All right. Sorry, Chris.
All right, last one then. This is from Dean. I'm still trying to find all my ingredients for my Christmas cake this year. I had to order online. I have a fresh bottle of brandy ready to soak it with. Ha ha.
Listen to me, Dean. Do not make it into a pudding. I know you think the more alcohol, the better, but I was talking about my Christmas cake just yesterday. It might be the first time in a long time that I haven't made my Christmas cake this year, but I suppose I could get on with it. This is what I do when friends come over from England. There are certain ingredients you can't really get in this country, or if you do get them, you have to wait a couple of weeks and so on for them to be sent and all the rest of it. When friends come visit, I tell them to bring me, you know, different foods that they can get into the country, and then I put them in the freezer, and they freeze beautifully and wonderfully. So if you've obviously not made the cake yet, you need at least 6 or 7 weeks. So you need to make it at the very latest this weekend, as I'm probably going to make mine. But I'm going to make a smaller cake. I'm going to make the next size down this year and see how that works out, because you know, because Samantha she has one slice, she doesn't like it, so who am I making it for? Oh yes, I'm making it for me. That's what I'm making it for me. I love Christmas cake. Right, that's it, I'm done. I shall be back, everyone, at 6 o'clock tonight. I know excuse me, I know it's Halloween, and I know I might disappoint some of you when I say it's not going to be spooky, but it is going to be educational. You will love my 3 chairs. You might not be able to do the exercise, but you will love it, and I'll show you exactly what you need to do. And, you know, if you were a student sitting here in my house, and anybody who's local, please come. You can come. I'm inviting you to come. 6 o'clock. Well, actually, you'd have to be here at 5:30, and let me know you're coming. Anyone locally wants to come in and sit with me, and we can do, and I'll put them, they can sit in the hot seat. See, that drives people away right away. Anyway, until we meet again, hopefully 6 o'clock tonight, Eastern Standard Time, or if not, you know, next Thursday. But we'll keep watching, keep looking, because we are going to be doing other things and doing more tutorials, and we're going to have a cracking up session and so on and so forth. So throughout the month of November, we're going to be doing lots and lots of things. So keep watching and stay, you know, we'll keep you posted on our plans. In the meantime, please, everyone, have a very, very blessed rest of the day. I'd like to say thank you to Chris, thank you to Grey Eagle, thank you to all of you for your wonderful well wishes, for your prayers, for your patience, for your tolerance, and for loving me as much as I love all of you. So thank you for all of that. Please, everybody, have a very, very blessed rest of the day, and have a very